Book 1, Bazur's Plot. Chapter 49, Fifth Woods Rescues. I woke up under what looked like tree leaves. It looked almost like a living ceiling. It took me a moment to understand where I was, and then I remembered yesterday's adventures. Like the underwater village. What was the name again? Bubble Drift Grotto? Yes, that's the one. Tara peeked at my hammock and asked in a quiet voice, "Are you awake, Sarah?" I turned my head and said, "Yes, just woke up. Shall we get going then?" Tara smiled. "Yes, pack your things and come for breakfast." I made it to the camp center where, surprise, surprise, Jack was eating breakfast already. He smiled and said, "We have coffee and cinnamon buns this morning." I smiled at him and said, "You and your cinnamon buns." He pretended to look hurt, holding one cinnamon bun in one hand, another pushing another in his mouth, and tried to say, "Woof." But as expected, that did not come out very well. I said to him, "Eat your buns and enjoy." I smiled at him. Everybody was eating breakfast, and we turned to look at Tara one by one. Tara started to laugh and said, "You all expect the briefing already." And for once, I was going to wait until you have finished your breakfast. We all smiled and said, "No, go ahead. We are so used to hearing the plan at the breakfast that it would not feel right to have a breakfast without briefing." Tara laughed. Okay. So the Varkans have made it to this side, and they are meeting us very shortly and taking more Barons and Capritors to the Fifth Woods. So once you're ready, go to the pier right behind those trees. It's right there. Then you rest. Of the folks, we will follow in few minutes, and Sarah Jack will magic transport us there. We will first clean up this camp, and then we will leave. Everybody got busy, and it was moments later that all Capritors and Morbans had gone already. We followed to the pier a few minutes later. We could see the Varkun's boat did just reach the shore, and they would be scouting and making sure it was safe on the other side. I said to Jack, "That tree behind where Garnock is now getting out." Jack looked and said, "Okay." And he continued addressing others. "Can you make a line in front of us, please?" Everyone lined up, and this time, since it was nobody's first time, everything was very fast and efficient. Me and Jack arrived last to the other side, obviously, and we looked around of us. We looked around. The Capritors were gone already. They were always somewhere in the woods ahead or around, making sure the area was safe. We took our normal places when Tara started to walk to the trail. Deep Claw was walking in front of her. After Tara, there was a Jack and I, and then Elves, and then Myriads and Tora, and then Garnock and Stonehide, the big, huge Moorbears. Flickfin Galkins were sitting on Moorbear's shoulders, since they had compulsory screech when they were flying or wanted to avoid what we wanted to avoid before they went for transport. I asked Sylvester, "Do you have anything that Flickfin Galkins would temporarily stop screeching?" Sylvester looked thoughtful and replied, "Yes, at least I think we can make them more quiet. We thought about it already earlier." Tora nodded. "Great idea. Thank you. It would be good since we don't have an inland Flickfin Gulkings here at all. So the noise will surely alert Bazur." I took the left side and glanced at Jack. He nodded. We were understanding each other without the words. He would be looking at the right side of the trail. I did not really look where we were when doing the scanning. Scanning took all the concentration. I just kept a short distance to the Tara's back and kept my eyes and glances on the left. There was no time to look at the scenery. Maybe later, I thought myself. I had a short time to glance around, and when we started to walk the trail to the river bond. This was Fifth Woods, huge area and tall trees that felt like they went all the way up to the sky. It was a magical forest with a lot of moss creating a soft look to it, soft and friendly. This trail seemed to end up in the village very soon. I could see it far away opening ahead of us. It looked like a lovely village with colorful houses around what looked like a village marketplace or something sort of clearing. Jack tapped on my shoulder. Are you scanning at all? I looked at him. Oh no, this Fifth Woods took my concentration away. It is so mesmerizing. Let me take some of those concentration leaves. Jack nodded. Just scan from here forward, will you? I did the last 10 meters for you, so there's nobody left behind. I looked at him very gratefully and chewed my leaf and started scanning. It was really good, since I stumbled upon 5 creatures right then. I stumbled upon 5 creatures right then. I started to uncurse them, and Jack went by me and continued scanning. I said to others, "Oh my! These are the wolf and fox creatures' children and grandbabies. They must be. Look at them." Others came to peek, and parents were clearly of wolf and fox, and the 3 babies were very much mixed race. Medical elves were just behind me, ready to help them. Dora and Myriad started to explain to parents that they were missed and wanted back, and explained that now the grandparents did not object them to being together at least. The awakened family looked very dumbfounded, but started to recover. I needed to go forward and let others to take care of the waking up and transports to the palace. I glanced behind me after I started to walk forward to the village, and I saw myriads looking at me and smiled. I smiled at them and continued walking. Jack and I had learned long time ago that others were faster in their jobs than us, and we needed just to do our part and then go forward scanning again. I arrived at the small village behind Jack. I saw Tara standing in the middle of the clearing, and Jack had already started to go into the houses at the right. I saw Tim and Tom follow him automatically, and I heard Sylvessa and Elowen quite small steps behind me when I turned left. They were always just behind me. We found about a dozen creatures from this village. Outside the houses were a couple, and most of them in their beds. Clearly Bazur had attacked in this village nighttime. The village has mixed creatures, but no elves or fairies, so they were all going back to the palace to recover. This was a battle area, and the village was abandoned. There was no question for now that they could recover here, like the couple individuals in the Fourth Woods, where still the village was lively and there was a support for there. Morbans were loaded with rescues, and Tora and Myriads were helping to escort them back to the boats, back to the boats. Tara did not stop. She started to walk out of the village. She continued to walk trail along the river. I guess we were crossing to the next village from here. Clearly the pace or rescue was now more pressured and tense in here in the Fifth Woods. I really hope we will not meet Bazur yet, but only time will tell. There were no creatures on this trail. It was a narrow trail, so we had to walk one after another. It was about 11 when we arrived to the next small village. Moorburns had caught up with us a long time ago, and they were carrying actually some packages that I assume were our lunches. I stepped to a wider trail when arriving at the edge of the village and turned to Jack. "Lunch after this village?" Jack replied. Yes, even I am starving. The food is so good here. I have been eating so much. He laughed and took off to the right. This village, this village had smaller houses. Sylvessa said quietly behind me, "This used to be our village." I turned around and looked at her sad face and asked, "Are you missing anyone from your Tribe, she nodded. "We don't know where they are. I am hoping we will find at least one of the missing ones. Our village, as you see, is not in the main trail, so Bazur did not find us early on. We had hidden our elders and children already when he found us here." I nodded and I started to go over the houses on the left. This made it more personal. I knew Sylvessa and Elaven really well by now. I loved them all, but they were my friends in this rescue crew. All of them were so important to me. I truly loved each and every one with all my heart. First houses, I came up empty and so had Jack. I saw sadness increase in Sylvessa's eyes, but she did not say a word, just followed me and looked around in her deserted village. Then I got this tinkly feeling. I was walking to this purple house on the left, and I felt we had many for sure in here. Just outside the house, there were two already. I encouraged them quickly to have them awakened and help elves to reunite. I could hear quiet laughter and talk when I went inside the small house. It was so small that I had to bend my head. Jack must bend himself a lot when going into these houses. There were actually 7 more cursed ones in this house alone. This was interesting. I popped my head out and said, "Here's more. We need help here. It is a tiny place, so we need to move them right away out. But what is bizarre, why does this small place have so many?" I started uncursing from the door to inside, right at the door inside of the house. And as soon as I had awakened Elf, it got supported or carried outside. When the last one was done, I helped a stunned-looking elf to walk with me outside, meeting Sylvessa by the door. Sylvessa ran into hugging the elf that I was supporting. I slipped out quietly. It was clear that this reunion was very important to Sylvessa at least. I saw Tara outside and asked, "Did you find out why this place had so many? The house is so tiny, so not all lived here for sure. Did someone actually move these here?" Tara looked at me. "I don't know. All I know from our elves is that one of them lives in this house. Maybe later we will get more information. There may have been just trying to be safe together. I could not put my finger on it, but that did not feel correct." I continued on my left side of the village, but somehow I already knew that I would not find anyone. I still did my due diligence and scanned all of the houses and surroundings. I saw Jack coming out of the house ahead of me, and we scanned around the house together. I looked at him. "All done? Ready to eat?" He just nodded to me. We walked to the center of the village where the food was laid out. Jack had awakened 5 elves. So it looks like we got missing ones from this elf tribe. Obviously, other creatures were still missing. The elves looked like they were having party, but very silent one. Clearly they had been told to keep their voices down, but their faces were beaming. Also, the awakened ones were eating slowly sandwiches, still looking a little puzzled. Jack and I sat down and took food and started to eat. The fairy nectar was so good. It was like drinking pure joy. I spoke between the sandwich bites. "Not bad so far. The elf's joy was so touching to see, and Tara nodded. Yes, it is lovely to see. I looked at her. Are you missing someone? She looked a little sad. Yes, I am. My family is missing, also my fiancé. Bazur normally does not kill anyone, but my fiancé, who I was to marry, is the one of the two Bazur he has killed. So we will not find him. I know where he is and what happened. I had not heard Bazur killing anyone and stopped eating. I'm so sorry, Tara. Tara looked at me and Jack with a sad expression in her eyes. It is okay. It would have come out sometime anyway. I loved him. He was glowing green, just like my cousin is glowing purple and I'm black. Tara came and touched his shoulder, but said nothing, just stood there. Tara clearly appreciated the support. Tara continued. Tara lost someone too. She was the one dead with my fiancé. They were actually scouting and were surprised by Bazur. And they tried to defend together against him, but he cursed both of them, killing them. It was actually because of that we got a word around to everyone, left their homes to hide as soon as possible. I looked at Dora, and his eyes were also sad. His eyes were dark blue, or black, maybe black, and as deep as an ocean. I barely could speak, and I tried to say I'm sorry. Tara and Dora nodded. Dora said quietly, it was to be told to you before our Bazur's fight. We have mourned our loved ones. Now it is most important that we will find the cursed ones that can be returned back to living. This joy is helping us to cope and heal as well. We looked at elves' joy again. Them talking to each other fast and looking happy, smiling. Tara looked at me. You better finish that food. You need your strength. I looked at the sandwich and made myself continue to eat. She was right. I better finish this. Tara got up and said to elves, we need to transport you elves to the tunnels. Who will take care of it? Looking mainly at Sylvester and Tom, who knew where the tunnel's openings were. Sylvester said, I will stay here with the rescue team. I already told to that my husband. So you take them, so I'm not able to change my mind or delay anything. Tom nodded. Tara looked at Sylvester. Are you sure? I'm sure Elindra will find you a replacement if you want. Sylvester looked at her steadily. I am sure. My heart is full now. I want to go on. She bowed a little bit to Tara. They seemed to have a telepathic conversation that none of us heard. After a while, Tara nodded and walked to Morburns. Let's get you loaded again, smiling at them. Morburns made themselves flat to the ground, making climbing to their backs easier for elves. There were so many that all three Morburns had many elves on them, and Tom was in the first one, guiding them where to go. Tom said, we will be maybe a half hour away, since we need to take them to strategic tunnel that helps them to go faster where our tribe is. Dora nodded, and off they went silently. Dora said, please take each sandwich to your pocket, since we do not have anyone now carrying these. Capritors? He said to the wind, and one appeared almost instantly in front of him. Dora asked, did you eat enough already? You had the other package full of food for you. Was that enough? Capritor, whose name I did not know yet. Yes, we ate, but we can take the last bits if whatever you have here. We have few members who eat more than others. Dora handed the rest food over, and he was gone before we could really speak more. They were so fast. Tara was already ready at the other end of the village, standing in front of the trail, going out of the village. She was waiting for us to line up after her. The trail was looking the same way, narrow like the one we were coming into the village. So we lined up after Tara and she started to walk again. I started my left side scanning. This time the trail seemed to crisscross more than earlier and we seemed to go forward toward the north now. I got nothing on my left trail side. Jack got one elf on his right side. He was given a double remedy so he could walk himself now. Moorbears were not back yet, and it was not useful to go back yet to the tunnels. Tara stopped and looked at us. We arrived to a small clearing, but there was nothing ahead. I looked at her puzzled. She looked at us and said, "It's a climbing time. Hope you're not afraid of heights." I swallowed. I am afraid, I was thinking. But I must power through it. If I forgot for a moment my fear, that would be really, really good. The village was the cutest yet I had seen. It was up in the tree house. The tree houses were having small terraces. You could actually see them better once you were up, probably. So, I don't know how we will cross the to one from house to other. I do see from here that there are bridges, lianas. I signaled, "Oh well, I better get on with it." Silvesa noticed my troubles and came to me and handed me something green and said, "Chew this, it will help you." I looked at her gratefully and started to chew. That was today's chapter. Let me know what you thought about it, and if anything unclear, ask away in the below comments. Subscribe and share the Myria. And come back for the next chapter. Just follow the chapter numbers. Bye!